Houston Real Estate Radio starts right now.
Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio, where we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. I'm Shannon Register, and this week we are taking you around the state. Last segment, we were talking with a broker from Evie Halliday out in Dallas, Texas. And this segment, we are talking with Greg Fischer. He is with Fischer Real Estate Services. He is the broker out in Fort Worth, Texas. And next, after we talk to Greg, we're going to move on to Austin next segment. So we're taking you all around the state to get a bird's eye view of what's going on with real estate within those areas. So let's hear from Fort Worth. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So tell us, you're an independent brokerage there and seeing a lot of transactions on the buy side or sell side or both?
Well, we're seeing a lot of buyers who are eager, and we just don't really have the inventory. So me personally, I'm kind of at a 50-50 moment through this year.
So y'all are experiencing low inventory just like we are, and Dallas as well.
Yeah, I mean it's really noticeable here. We work in town, close to downtown, and we're pretty much close to half of what we saw last year and the years prior as far as inventory goes.
In your area in particular, is there anything causing these shortages that you can see other than just a high demand for housing right now?
Yeah, I think that we haven't really gotten the public to understand the conditions in the market right now. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our work over the summer is really trying to help homeowners understand what's happening in the market and maybe make decisions. So I think there's a little bit of lag in the indicators of a strong performing market and getting the sellers who actually have the homes put on the market to actually move into action.
Are you seeing housing prices rise there? Are you experiencing like the 12% growth that we're hearing about nationwide?
We are absolutely experiencing higher home prices. A lot of times we think people are in 5 to 7 year life cycles in their home. Mm-hmm. But I've worked with several sell and purchase clients this year mm-hmm. who are moving after 3 years of being in the home, mostly because of the market in where their homes are located and also the opportunity to kind of move a little further out and maybe get a little more bang for their buck.
Are you seeing people move more into the suburbs or more into downtown?
It's kind of interesting. We're kind of seeing in between downtown and the suburbs. So there's a couple really old neighborhoods in Fort Worth that weren't as popular as some of the in-town neighborhoods. And now I'm kind of seeing an exodus from the very, very close neighborhoods to the downtown corridor mm-hmm. to the neighborhoods that kind of just straddle what we would call in-town and outside of our loop and into the suburbs. So I'm actually seeing a lot of movement in these neighborhoods that weren't typically as popular.
Do y'all have a lot of international buyers coming in?
Not that I know of. It's definitely not my experience. In Fort Worth, we do have a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and there are people moving in, especially in North Fort Worth into the Alliance Corridor, but not necessarily something that I work with personally.
What about investors?
Absolutely. Investors have been showing up in different pockets around the city. Our western suburbs, where there's some new builds and builds that have been in the last 10 years, and we've kind of seen depressed over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. We've seen investors really active in those markets trying to pick up single-family investment properties.
All right. The rental properties out in Fort Worth, how are they doing? Have prices stabilized, or they continue to rise on rentals?
I saw a report that came out a few months ago that we actually led the nation in year-over-year rent increases, mm-hmm. and I've experienced that. There's definitely a pain point as far as inventory goes and single-family rentals. We just absolutely don't have them. We actually brokered a listing for one in a popular neighborhood here, and we pushed 25 people through in 2 days. So I wouldn't say that we've stabilized yet. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just another inventory shortage on that front as far as single-family goes.
Yeah. One of the things that we've seen here is that people are going a lot more greener, a lot of greenhouses going up, really tightening up the space, making it very energy efficient. And a lot of people want 1-stories, and if they're going to go 2-story, they really want a 1.5. They don't want the bedrooms upstairs. Are y'all seeing that as well?
Yeah, that makes sense. On the south side of the city, which is a really popular development area right now, we are seeing things like that go into play. But there's also some historical standards that builders have to be aware of. So it's kind of a happy medium of the need for some builds like that to come in, but also kind of respecting the neighborhood guidelines within those areas.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that's as popular as perhaps it might be in some other areas.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate the information you're sharing with us. Like I said, we're going around the state today and just trying to get some point of view from the people who are actually on the ground selling houses, instead of the economic point of view. So tell me, any hot neighborhoods there that you would recommend any listeners looking to move to the Fort Worth area?
Absolutely. The in-town neighborhoods have always performed well. And really for us, that's the south side with neighborhoods like Fairmount, where commercial has just done a really good job ensuring neighborhood-friendly businesses open up around the neighborhood. So that's absolutely the top place in my mind to look at in Fort Worth. Also on the west side in Arlington Heights, it's just constantly performing really well for people. And as I mentioned, we've kind of had a little exodus into these in-between suburban areas. In Fort Worth, that would include Ridgely Hills is a popular area where I see people moving, and also into Wedgwood. So that would absolutely be my top recommendations in Fort Worth.
All right, sounds good, Greg. We appreciate the update. This segment is sponsored by The Perfect Light. They are an outdoor landscape lighting company. If you have any outdoor landscape lighting needs, they can give you a quote to install or help you fix up any issues that you're having with your current lighting situation with your landscape. You can find them online at theperfectlight.com. And as always, if you've got a real estate question, you can call it into us at 281-882-8088. And we'll be happy to answer that on the air for you next Sunday. And if you just want to know the value of your home, let me know that when you leave your question, and we can certainly get back to you personally and get you the value of your home. There are some ways to find it online, but remember, when you use a realtor, you get a lot better information because you actually have someone to evaluate the data for you. All right, we're going to be next visiting with a realtor out in Austin, Texas, to get an update there. If you missed any of today's show, remember you can find us online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We'll be right back.